Good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Wisdom Onisi. First, the headlines. Tinubu Labour talks on minimum wage adjourned till next week. Senegal President Diomaye's reforms in his first 100 days in office. Kenya President dismisses all cabinet ministers after weeks of protest. And on sports, NFF to declare Flying Eagles coaching post vacant. Now the news in details. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu and the organized labor on minimum wage talk was adjourned until next week to allow for wider consultation with all stakeholders. The tripartite committee on the new national minimum wage had recently submitted two figures to the president as the organized private sector and the government team offered to pay 62,000 naira, while the organized labor demanded 250,000 naira. Following the disagreement over the figure, the president had delayed sending any figure to the National Assembly through the executive bill to consult with all the relevant stakeholders in order to resolve all the contentious issues. Ajero, who addressed State House correspondents after the meeting, said there were no negotiations at the one-hour meeting. Rather, it was a discussion on the current economic realities in the country. Away from that, Nigerian's Minister of Environment Balarebel Abbas Lawal said the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria has a critical role to play in the federal government's efforts to arrest forest degradation. The minister said this during a familiarization visit to the FRIN headquarters in the Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on Thursday. The minister, accompanied by the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Environment, Mahmoud Ahmed Kambari, said the forest cover of Nigeria is about 3.7%. That is a far cry from the 25% minimum for each country. We also have you know that the National Senior Secondary School Education Commission has decried the deplorable state of senior secondary schools in the country and called for collaboration to overcome some of the challenges bedeviling the secondary level of education in the country. The government listed some of the challenges confronting the sector, including infrastructural deficit, unqualified teachers, obsolete curriculum, deplorable libraries and laboratories. The Executive Secretary of the National Senior Secondary School Education Commission, Ajayi Iyala, stated this during a meeting with the civil society organization Community Advancement and Humanitarian Empowerment Initiative members. Now, when we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of West Africa. An Accra Circuit Court revoked a bench warrant issued for the arrest of a military officer allegedly involved in a 136,000 Ghana cedis recruitment fraud. This was after Abel Natil appeared before the court together with his lawyers. Natil's defense counsel pleaded with the court to grant his client bail because they were informed of the arrest warrant through a publication. According to the defense counsel, Natil appeared in court because he did not disagree with the law, adding that the defendant would not interfere with police investigations when granted bail. Following the defense counsel's submission, the court withdrew the bench warrant granted Natil to self-recognize bail. The court ordered Natil is to report to the Regional Criminal Investigations Department for further investigations. Away from that, we have you know that after 100 days at the helm of Senegal, President Basiru Diomaye Faye faces the ongoing challenge of fulfilling his campaign promises. However, he has already made his remarks with some significant decisions. Among the notable reforms are those in the justice system, with proposal from recent consultations already on his desk. Additionally, there is an announcement audit of the administration and, most importantly, a reduction in the price of essential goods. Those actions have started to shape his administration's early days. However, some decisions are causing discontent. Among these are the operations to clear public roads of streets vendors and the freezing of media company accounts. These actions have sparked criticism and concern among the affected areas. Now we move to the other parts of Africa. After this break, please stay with us. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of Africa. Kenyan President William Ruto on Thursday dismissed almost all of his cabinet ministers and promised to form a new government that will lean and efficient following weeks of protest over high taxes and poor governance. The president also dismissed the attorney generals and said ministries will be run by their permanent secretaries. Ruto said he made the decision after listening to the people and that he would form a broad-based government after consultations. Ruto said the prime cabinet secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, a key political ally, would remain in office. Away from that, we have you know that Algeria's president announced on Thursday that he intends to run for a second term in office, 5 years after ascending to the power as the military and establishment-backed candidate during widespread pro-democracy protest. The 78-year-old political veteran Abdelmadid Tabun said in an interview to be broadcast on Nigerian television, I beg your pardon, in an interview which was broadcasted in a Nigerian television, came in response to support from political parties and young people beside Tabun. 34 candidates have announced plans to run in the election. Up next is business. Stay with us. Welcome back now to business news. The World Bank has revealed that the public expenditure on education and health in Nigeria is inadequate by any standard. The report, titled Human Capital, Public Expenditure and Institutional Review, is an analysis of financing and governance constraints for the delivery of basic education, and primary health care in Nigeria. The report noted that the overall public spending at the merely 12% of gross domestic product falls short of the threshold necessary to underwrite fundamental public services. This compares to the sub-Saharan African average of 17.2% and the lower middle income countries' average of 18.5%. Over the past 5 years, Nigeria's health and education expenditure has fluctuated between 10 and 12% of GDP. We also have you know that Egypt's urban inflation rate decreased for the fourth month in a row in June, dropping to 27.5% from 28.1% in May. According to data released by the country statistics agency, the downward trend began in September 2023 when the inflation hit a peak of 38% following the government's adoption of inflation targeting model and a flexible exchange rate. Core inflation, which excludes, volatile items like fuel and certain food products, also declined to 26.6% year-on-year from 27.1% in May. As reported by the central bank, economics suggests that efforts to boost local food production in Egypt have been somewhat ineffective, making the country's economy susceptible to external factors. Still to come is sport. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
This is Hillstv.
Welcome back now to Sport News. The Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) is set to declare the position of the Flying Eagles head coach vacant. The position will soon be advertised for interested coaches to apply. Handler of the side, Ladan Bosol, was heavily criticized following the Flying Eagles' poor showing at the 2024 African Games in Ghana. The team failed to make it beyond the group stage at the Games. Bosso guided the Flying Eagles to the quarterfinal of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Argentina last year. The Flying Eagles are expected to take part of the qualifier for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. Away from that, we have you know that former Netherlands striker Perel van Hooydonk has called on UEFA to blacklist referee Felix Zweier following England's recent Euro 2024 semi-final win over Netherlands. England will face Spain in the Euro 2024 finals on Sunday in Berlin after Oliel Watkins' 90th minute winner sealed a 2-1 victory for Gareth Southgate's side. The Three Lions were gifted a penalty in the first half of the match when Denzel Dumfries attempted the block Harry Kane's shot, just to have clipped the England captain in the process. A VAR review resulted in referee Zweier overturning his original decision and awarded England a penalty which Kane converted. However, Van Hooijdonk wants Swear to be banned from major matches in the future. We also have you know that Chelsea have given up hopes of signing Nigerian-born forward Samu Omorodion for their new manager Enzo Maresca this summer. The Premier League West London club will instead focus their intentions on alternative targets. Omorodion, who currently plays his club football at Atletico Madrid, has been identified as Chelsea's primary attacking target for the summer transfer window. The Blues are determined to strengthen up front to help kickstart the Maresca era. The likes of Victor Osimhen, John Duran and Victor Gyökeres have been linked with Chelsea, and reports last week suggested the club had launched a 42 million euro bid to price Omorodion away from Atletico Madrid. And that's your sport news on Africa Today. We move to the rest of the news after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back now, the rest of the news. Hundreds of terrorists, criminals and drug traffickers have escaped from Kotoko Kale prison in Niger Republic. The prison located near the capital city of Niamey was the scene of a violent mutiny on Thursday that overwhelmed guards and allowed inmates to escape with weapons and vehicles. According to eyewitness accounts, gunshots and explosions were heard from inside the prison around midday, prompting a quick response from security forces. However, it was reported that the inmates had already gained control of the prison, breaking through armored gates, barbed wire, and trenches. It was gathered that two previous attempts by terrorists to attack the prison had been thwarted. The country's interior minister reportedly issued a radio message to all governors confirming the escape and urging village chiefs and religious leaders to report any suspicious individuals. And that's Africa Today, but before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that Tinubu labor talks on minimum wage are joined till next week. And we also brought to you that Senegal President Diomaye reforms in his first 100 days in office. We also told you that Kenyan president dismisses all cabinet ministers after weeks of protest. And on sport, we brought to you that NFF to declare Flying Eagles coaching post vacant. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Wisdom Onyisi. Thanks for watching.